world, having a few tech issues here. Nothing new, nothing surprising in the live world. That's what happens. My kids just decided to go out and play in the snow now, and then come back in. So that's going to be in the background. So that'll be fun. Eventually, they will go back to school. I pray. And today we have the next episode of the KEW Exchange, where knowledge through experience transfers into wisdom. And Terry Earthwind Nichols, is joining me today, a good friend of mine. And we're going to talk about the journey from suicide ideations, which is a deep topic. It's something that I take very personal, and as do you. And why don't you introduce yourself and give a little bit of your background of why this matters so much to you?
Well, before I discovered and created a new question and answer sequence that's about a little over a decade old now, just 4 months before I created that, I was on the 28th floor roof of my condo building, on the edge of the roof, as calm as I am right now. I was done. I was telling myself, my kid will get over it. My ex, who cares? And, you know, this is it. No wind pushing me, no wind pulling me, nothing. Calm day, beautiful day outside. And a voice, call it divine intervention, I don't care. Somebody said, turn around, I got work for you. And I did, as if it was an order. I was back in the Navy or something. I crawled over the retaining wall and went back off that roof, never to return. And within 4 months, helping somebody over then Skype, we do it over Zoom now, I got a hunch one night to change up the order I was helping her with as a Stephen minister. That's an international ministry, non-denominational, for people in crisis. And so I was helping a person from my place in Minneapolis, USA, to Australia, Adelaide. And I got a hunch to, you know, have her close her eyes, because I knew if you close your eyes, you can release all the stuff that's going on around you. And I said, just close your eyes. Trust me for a second. Let's try something. What do you smell? And she jumped, her eyes open. She said, oh my God, I can smell gas. I said, okay, I'm thinking natural gas, but let's quantify this. What do you got? Gas, diesel? What do you got? No, it's gas. You know, there must be a fire. This is an electric building. I go, okay, calm down. Something tells me you smelled that gas exactly the time I asked you what you smell, not before, okay? Do you smell it now with your eyes open? No, okay? Let's try something. Calm down, take a few deep breaths, close your eyes, and see if you can smell the gas again. And she says, I do. Good, keep your eyes closed. Go back and find a memory where you smell that gas. And she did. And it was years before, years. And through the following 7, 8 weeks, 5 to 7 hours a week, we went through a process using the senses to find an amnesic memory in her early childhood that was driving all of the self-sabotage, schizophrenic. She's in and out of hospital. There's kind of like 5 side meds, all kinds of stuff. And she's not only off all of them, she has not had an episode in the last 11 years. So it works. And so that's the work I got for you to do. Pretty cool. I'm not a highly religious person, but I am spiritual. I think there's up there. I'm a Native American. I practice that too. And I now know what I'm supposed to do in the world, and that's to help people. Now, I don't have a PhD or Duke Medical Center or MIT or Columbia College Medical Schools backing this thing, so it's a slow process. It's been a long 10 years. But even then, Michael, our company since 2012 is now on 6 continents. We have clients and practitioners in 16 countries, 26 US states. So we're getting it out there. We're moving. And I know that from my own experience with suicide ideation on a regular basis through most of my adulthood, that there's a whole lot of other people that do the same thing. And so my message out there is come and listen to me. Go to YouTube, look up Terry Earthwind Nichols. You'll find lots of stuff, and see what you think. There's all kinds of videos there. Over 400 videos of me interviews. This is like 490 something interview over the last 10 years. So I got a little experience around the mic.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Why don't you go a little bit into how it works? I mean, I'm not telling you to give away the secret sauce. I'm not telling you to just hand it over, but like, just explain to people how it relates to triggers, how it relates to past amnesias, experiences, things that we don't even remember affect us, right? And I do that through my own meditation journey, right? And I'm constantly uncovering more and more stuff within me. But I look within, right? That's just me.
Yeah.
And my over analytical brain's not going to stop until I find everything. So, I'm just going to keep going with it, right? And just keep going layer after layer. Yesterday was a horrendous day for me. I was in a horrible space yesterday. I was miserable. I was low. I did not think about killing myself or want to kill myself at all. But I was very depressed yesterday. I was very down yesterday, and I was processing a lot. I got triggered out of nowhere, and then it spiraled into other triggers, and did a tracing back and found that the core issue was back to when I was 3.5, 4 years old. And then I watched how it transitioned over the course of my 40, 35 years, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's impacted me across the way through relationships, any type, friendships, whatever it is. And then the little triggers that also built on top of it, right? But for those that don't do that, right? Not everybody's as crazy as I am, I guess, or willing to. How does it work? How does it, resonate, and how does it really get in?
Well, amnesia, number one, is the protection that the brain forms around an event that's highly emotional. Okay. And it can be anything. It's just highly emotional. The real key factor is for 10 years now, all over the world, I've been finding that it's pre-language. Little kid watch something they don't understand, and it was very traumatic. Spouse abuse or something like that could be very bad. Sexual abuse, yeah, that's bad. But a lot of the time, Michael, they observe something that they're strictly an observer. A recent client, for instance, I like telling this one because it's really powerful. She's 4 months old, sitting up her back against the couch, and daddy's going crazy with the camera. Okay. Well, uncle's behind him, wailing on her cousin. And he's screaming and crying. And the more he beats him, the worse he cries. Right. Well, she's trying to get a hold of this, And, when I cry, this is at the neutralization when we found this lost memory. And I'll explain how in a second. When I cry, you pick me up and hold me and kiss me. You feed me. You change my diaper. I don't understand. Why does he beat him and keep going? It was massive to him. Dad, he's just going, hey, knock it off back there. I'm trying to get the kid to smile, And so there was the thing that sets in is protection. Nothing's broken. Now, it's really key that you guys listening in understand you're not broke. There's something in there protecting you from this area of your brain. Because it's pre-language, it's way back there. Okay. You come forward with how you mature and all the rest of your vein from there. And traditional psychotherapy and various modalities come from the front, back, or from the sides in. They don't come from the back. Okay. So when this amnesia sets in to protect you, it closes off the neural pathway that was created back to that area of the brain. Okay. That's how amnesia works. All right. Now, once it does that, as you mature, we learn linearly. 1 + 1 is 2, A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. We learn songs. Everything is linearly. It's not almost no abstract thought per se until we're older, usually in school and stuff. We daydream and things like that as children, but it's not the same thing. Anyway, it learns linearly how to protect you and how to deflect you. If you try to go down that neural pathway, it's going to send you to a new set of memories. And you, as the person that are being shielded from that memory, you don't have any memory of that. but now you also don't have any other memories back there either because they're all closed in. Okay. So here's what we do. As I mentioned earlier, we have them close their eyes, and we set up the person in the session. It takes about 3 hours to go through the session. We won't go into all that stuff today, but the basics of it is there are no good memories, there are no bad memories, they're simply memories. And what we do or relate to emotionally to a memory is where we go. Okay. So that sets up the subconscious to say, okay, well, I can give the conscious a memory, not based on emotion. Okay, I get that. Then we have them go find a memory that they think about often. Listen to the words, folks, that you think about often and enjoy remembering with friends and family. I didn't say it was good or bad, just enjoy remembering. So when you get there, I'd like you to freeze frame the memory so there's no motion in the memory. And we've learned that if there's no motion, there's no emotion. So I can keep somebody in high throes of suicide ideation perfectly calm through an entire process session, okay? Because there's no emotion to the memory. There's no history, no Uncle Bob walking through the picture, nothing, okay? A picture is a picture. So then we go through a very specific sequence of having you inventory the memory based on your 5 senses. In the first of 3 memories, we say, okay, number 1 of your 5 senses for recall of memories is smell. So please describe for me what you smell, one thing at a time. Give me an inventory. And we go through all 5 senses. But here's what we're looking for. Yes, we want you to say whatever you're aware of. However, if you're sitting on the end of a dock at Grandma and Grandpa's lake cabin, and you're smelling hot dogs and popcorn, something's not complete there. You probably don't do that. And if I was sitting beside you, I'm sure I wouldn't, right? So there's stuff that's added into the inventory or can't be remembered that we pay attention to. And then they go back from there to a second memory further back in time, and a third memory, ultimately in an area where I won't give away why we go to a certain area with each client. It's always different. And the hidden or locked memory is there. And it's being protected from the front because that's the way the neural process retrieves memories. We're back here where senses are at the brainstem coming forward. So to make it simple, we come in the back door with the client. They find it. They come in the back door of a memory, and it is so crystal clear, Michael, that they can smell everything that's in the room. Aftershave on a person, pine needles on the tree across the street, just amazing. And the person's face who created the event, okay? And we say it that way and very specifically that way because so many of our clients observe something. They didn't get attacked or anything. They observed something. And from that, that's how that goes. And then there's a neutralization that they go through and some words. That gets into a place they've never been before. That whole area of their memory is now open to them. And, I have clients that when they came to me didn't know or could not remember anything before first grade. Okay. Nothing. Even if they saw photos of themselves with their name on the photo, they refused to believe it was them. So now, not only do they remember the photo, they can tell you who's in there and remember being there and tell you who took the picture. It's killer cool. So, that's the start of what we call a 30-day process, because we know that in the behavioral science, it takes 30 days to set and keep and retain a new pattern, a new way of thinking. So we don't have you set up a pattern and have you memorize it. Yeah, that's fun, but it's not real. You get to do it yourself. There's no more power in you completely in control of your mantra and your checks, okay? And so that's the main very short version of how it's so successful. No emotion is huge. The fact that we circumvent all of the triggering systems, all the protection that's they've had all their lives to keep them from a memory. And then when it's opened up, it's like, I like to use this analogy. It's great. You have the Christmas tree lights on and you can't find a plug and you don't know where it is and you're just frustrated and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, there it is. Click. You now have control of the plug. Now, what does that mean for memory? Not only do you know where everything is, you now have a new access way that's not blocked to that whole area. So all of your memories from, baby memories and everything. I have clients could tell me where the chips were on the crib, and it's cool.
So okay, so real quick, let me pause you for a sec. So when you do it with one memory, does that mean that you get flooded with all your memory back when you make that reconnect again? Like, does it open the floodgates?
Yeah, but it's not a floodgate. So the library door is open. You can go in there and look around anytime you want. But you're not just, oh my God, what's going on? None of that ever happens because you're in with your eyes closed. You're perfectly present with what's going on. So no emotion, no ego asking questions, none of that is present. Ego gets involved when emotion goes up or down. Wherever you want to go with that, ego starts playing. If you don't go to motion, ego can't kick in. So when you get into this memory and you remember that, like I did it took 4 years for me to get somebody good enough for the trickster because I knew all the tricks, right?
Right.
So somebody good enough to get me into my memory. And when I did, one of the first things that I remembered was me 3 months old in my father's arms on my grandpa's farm, that I absolutely refused to believe it was me. I could tell it was my aunt taking the picture. I was blown away. I said, man, wow, this is it. This is real. Now, it's no theory. As many as I do all over the world, this is I got 48 practitioners that I've trained and certified to do this in 6 languages. So, I know it works because I'm in charge. Now, we go through emotional trials day to day, okay? About 18 months after I went through my CR process, I was watching something on television, not exactly what it was, but it triggered a massive anxiety attack. So whatever the commercial was, I went into a cold sweat, and for about 2 seconds, it was like, oh my God, wait a minute. I have a check system for this and it works. Okay. So I asked myself 3 questions. Which of my 5 senses just went off? What's the memory I remember with that? And who am I looking at in the memory? I neutralize them very quickly. And within like 5 to 7 seconds, Michael, I was completely calm. That's powerful.
So, yeah, I mean, that's okay. So it's not only that you're taking them through the memory healing process and understanding and remembering and rewiring that part of it, but you're also teaching them and training them on how to, when they get a trigger, when they get whatever it is, when something comes over them, how they can adapt to it, realize it, and stop it.
Yeah. Your brain wants to protect you. It's a data center. So later on, this triggering device, which was created to protect you, is going to check in every so often and say, hey, you want me to make you normal again? It doesn't know that your whole life has been abnormal. It just knows that when you were in this pain, this is how you operated. And it looks for new memories that if you react just so, it will kick them in and you're right back into PTSD or whatever all over again. We've had a few of our clients come back and say, something's not right. I know this worked, but something's happening and I can't find it. You guys need to help me. And then we go through what we call a continuation section that, remember, it's 3 hours the first time for the most part. 20, 30 minutes, we're all done. and they almost never come back again because they now realize how they went wrong the first time, right? When the other one started to come in and they started those thoughts, they didn't stop and do the 3 questions, and that's where the result was. So now they're fully believers.
So, okay, so I'm going to go somewhere very unpopular with this and somewhere that most people won't discuss, and you can defer if you don't want to talk about it. My personal belief is that mental health and mental illness, whatever they want to call it, mental well-being, a lot of that is our brain trying to protect ourselves. A lot of that, it has a spiritual part to it that people ignore. A lot of it has something outside of our body experiencing that we need to accept, understand, and realize, or else we're fighting ourselves and in constant turmoil. Do you believe that the mental health industry and stuff like that, where it's let's give a pill for this, give a pill for that, give a pill for this, and they don't even fully understand brain chemistry. They don't fully understand how it works, but the first go-to is medication. Do you believe that this is more powerful than that? And like, you have cases and proof now, right?
Yeah. And I have I forget the percent, slips it right now, but it's over 2/3 of our clients who were on various depressives and side meds and stuff like that were off them within a year. And, you know, we tell every client, and I'm telling you guys listening in today, and thank you for doing so, is you make the decision on what your body needs and what it doesn't, with that help and consultation of your physician. That's who the pro is. I don't do that. Right. And if you're taking some heavy stuff and you just decide that you're going to stop, you're dead.
Yeah.
Okay. It could cause heart attacks, strokes. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And all of our clients that have been on various prescriptions, go to their doctors, and we tell them, no uncertain term. If they're on it, when we know about it at the session, we follow up with them for 3 months to make sure that they're still on their meds and everything is still fine. That's when we say, okay, now I recommend you can go talk to your doctor. Talk to your doctor about changing the dosage and see where it goes. Okay, because that's who they are. They know the chemicals. I don't. I'm not a doctor.
Right.
Right. So that's very key. A lot of people on various side meds end up with strokes and heart attacks because they finally feel good and they think, they throw the pills away, say, I don't need a med more. I'm great.
Right.
All of a sudden. So it's very important. Yeah. But what you're saying is really quite true. You know, we have something that works. And at some point in time, I've had a lot of conversations with the VA. I'm certified vendor with the VA and everybody else. They are very interested in what we're doing. And all of them say the same thing. Go find the money and run a research project so you have that in your hands, and we'll go to work with it. I said, why can't you do it?
Right.
I'm going to, you know, turn the mics off. I don't want to be the one who fails.
Right.
I want to be the one who triumphs. They're so afraid that one of their research projects is not going to work. They won't do it. You know, that's just a catch-22 on my part and my people. But every day things change. You know, one of these days, I absolutely believe this, folks. One of these days, I'm going to take somebody through the CR process who is high enough on the economic ladder. We work with Fortune 100 companies, executives, everybody else. Somebody high enough is going to say, I'm coming out for this guy, Terry Twin Nichols, and the CR stuff. And I'm not only coming out, I've got the money to back it. And I want Duke University or whoever to run the research project. I'll pay for it. I want this proved that his thing works. That'll happen, but who knows when.
So have you ever seen a documentary called Crazy Wise?
No.
Write it down. I recommend you watch it. It's somebody shared it with me a couple weeks ago, and it's changed my perspective on mental health and spirituality and spiritual awakenings, and how there's misdiagnoses and they just start feeding people with meds left and right and just keep piling them and piling them and piling them until they find this magic combination of a briefcase of pills. And it's very sad, right? It's really sad how, you know, we are experts at certain things and claiming to be experts at other things. And you know, there's no shame to say that we don't know enough about this subject, so let's just baby step our way into it. But nobody wants to admit that, right? It's drugs, 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 push more, push more, push more. And I'm not out against big pharma. I mean, yes, I don't like big pharma, but this isn't a I hate big pharma thing. This is a reality thing. I truly believe that there are natural ways to heal almost any ailment, and if not every, right? And you know, I feel like what you're doing has this natural way of taking people in a healthier way. You know, even some of the PTSD and trigger therapy I've done has been traumatic at times, right? Like this seems to me like a more healthy way of going through that process, getting to the root without feeling the pain from it.
Yeah.
Maxine, it's called Crazy Wise. One word, Crazy Wise. It's a documentary on YouTube. Sorry, Maxine's asking now. So Maxine commented, Fred commented, and then Maxine asked the name of the movie. It's a documentary on YouTube. It's very interesting because it really goes between that spiritual awakening and the mental health and wellness, or, you know, mental illness paradigm, right? And all the medications that they do. And psych meds are very tricky because we really don't understand the brain, right? We really don't. We have no clue. And, you know, some of these chemicals are very scary. And, you know, I'd rather appear a little on the eccentric side than be numbed out and never fulfill anything that I'm meant to. And that's just me personally, right? I can handle little waves.
Yeah. You know, for me, they're doing what they think is right. I have met and formed relationships with some amazing behavioral health people who got into it because of a whacked out uncle, or, you know, all kinds of different things like that. And they really want to find a cure or whatever. And they're very interested in what I do. And that's great. And no one has ever attacked me. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, the behavioral health is on our side. They're doing what they think is right. And yes, there are some out there that get a piece of the pie when they do prescriptions. Well, that's those kind of people everywhere. So that's just the way it goes, where their ethical oath doesn't mean too much to them. My ethical oath is I want to save lives. And we do that, you know. One of my best, this is suicide that we're talking about today. One of the best stories that I can tell all of you is 7 years ago, I had a guy, Afghan vet, call me on the phone late one night and said, hey, you the CR guy? And I go, yeah. And he says, I'm a vet and I need you to help me, because if you can't help me, I'm doing myself right now. And I said, okay, so what are you doing? And he says, I've got a Glock. It's lock and loaded. It's at my temple. I said, fine. You're a veteran? Yeah. Afghan. I said, okay, I'm a brother. All right. I'm a veteran. And I stood, as I told you guys earlier, I've stood on the side of the building. Something told me to turn around and do some bit, you know, I got work to do, and you're the work. Now, brother, here's what we're going to do. You're sitting in a chair? Yeah. You near a computer? Yeah. Let's get up on Skype, secure the weapon, make it safe. Okay. Disengage the magazine, put it on the floor beside you. And then double check the bolt, make sure there's nothing in there. Okay. And put it on the other side on the floor. You can pick them up, lock and load, and do it yourself. You're going to do that anyway. But here's what you're not going to do. You're not going to use it tonight, my brother. You and I are going to walk through this together. And we did. It's emotional.
Yeah. I mean,
because 22 people lose their lives a day of veterans in America. It's more than that, but that's what they say. Here's the key, though, ladies and gentlemen. 7 years now. No more suicide ideation. And there are no weapons in this man's house. None. Zero. Don't go hunting, nothing anymore. Weapons are destruction. That's his call. Okay. I don't have any guns in my house either. No weapons. That's my call. You that are watching today, it's your call, whatever it is. But just know this. That guy's never had a problem since. Not once. We talk regularly. We're good friends now. He doesn't live that far away from us out here. But it was 3 or 4 months before we could get together. Wow, was that an emotional grab?
Yeah.
So yeah, just know it's real.
And again, I'm not trying to put down an industry. I'm just trying to show all perspectives of this because I think that there's an awareness that needs to be out there about this. Yeah. And there's an awareness about all sides of this. You know, I go to the doctor, I have high blood pressure. The doctor immediately says, here's meds. Why don't you just tell me to go get off my ass and walk 35 minutes or an hour a day? Don't give me the med, right? Like, we make our body dependent on meds, and it's an easy, quick fix rather than doing work and changing. And I know that it's all different, and I know that, you know, our bodies handle things different, and every single human being handles everything differently. That's why when there's standards, the standards I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. You know, standard blood pressure doesn't make sense to me. My blood pressure has been as high as 270 over 193. And I'm walking around, no headaches, no lightheadedness, no anything, not even red. And my doctor's looking at me like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. Why? Well, we have an ambulance pulling up to take you to the hospital. I said, why? and like, I mean, everybody can handle something different, right? Our bodies can handle different things. Now, granted, I was not healthy. I was eating horrible. I probably weighed 75 pounds more than I weigh now. I wasn't smoking more than I am now. Now I'm smoking more. But like, I mean, everything was just, it was a different life then. It was a different lifestyle at that moment. And, you know, with diet changes and this change and that change, you know, yeah, I'm still on a couple meds now, but I'm not on the 4 or 5 that they wanted me on. Right. You know, I'm not on all the meds that they wanted me on. And little by little, my goal is to be off of them this year, every single one of them. Right? Keep doing the right thing, get healthier, and just keep going until I'm off every med. Because I don't like what the chemicals do to me. There's too many side effects to every one of them. And what you're offering is a natural, healthier way to do it. Right? And you're offering, give this a chance before taking that jump. Give it a chance before, you know, going there. What's your website? Because I want to put up the website for the suicide prevention stuff. Kelly, are you there to do it? If not, then I'll try and type it.
It's evolution. She's on it. Evolutionaryhealer.com.
Okay.
And click on the menu where it says see our process. There's white pages for people who like it, research. There's interviews of my different people and more about us and how to get, you know, the same thing you can do. If you Google Terry Earth Wind Nichols, my name's going to be up here for a little while longer. You get everything. All right. If you go out and Google Terry Nichols, you get 20,000 of my best friends. If you Google Terry Earth Wind Nichols, I'm in Chickamauga, Cherokee. Terry Earth Wind Nichols, there's one in the world. YouTube channels, Twitter, websites, my pretty face all over the place. That's easy to do too.
Yeah, I mean, I want people to know, right? I want more people to know what you're working on. I want people to be more aware of what you're doing because I think the world needs it, right? And you know me, I'm very aligned with that. I believe in that. And at some point, I'll probably need what you do. I'm sure I will. It's only a matter of time. I can only dig so deep, I guess.
That's a key point that you're saying right there. And the people that come to us, the number one hesitation is, well, I don't know if it's time. I said, you will know when it's time. And you're calling up and say, we're doing this now. you know it's time. And that is a consistent factor. If somebody comes to us, this is a non-negotiable rule. Somebody comes to us, I don't care if they got cash in their hand, and says, well, I just want to try it. No, you're not. You're not screwing up my numbers because you want to try it.
Right.
When you're ready and you can't take it anymore, you come see me, and you'd be surprised how creative we are to help you. We'll get it done. We can't take insurance. We're always trying. But we haven't been successful yet. But, you know, we've become very creative well, here's key. I could have a brand new CR practitioner who hasn't done a CR process session yet, take you on that are listening right now and be successful. And here's why. The CR process sequence is word for word, right off a script, fill in the blank. Right, read the question, fill in the blanks. Never fails. So a brand new person who's not done it before could take somebody through without any problems. They got to know all the rest of it. So if you're just going to try and find my CR process form, good luck with that, because you need to know all of the stuff that has to take place so you know how to use the form. So, knowledge is power, right, Michael?
It is, right? And, you know, when I look at this, it amazes me. So here's a question, right? My life, as I look back on my life, and as I've done so much trauma therapy, and now I'm in my healing phase and getting over these things and correcting behaviors and habits that I created because of what happened. So when you take somebody through the CR process and whatever that incident was created behaviors and habits for them, do they immediately stop the behavior and habits? Is that like an instant? So that's instantaneous, no matter what it is. That just immediately deadness tracks.
Right. Now, here's what's going to happen within 10 to 14 days. Your brain and your body is saying, you know what, Michael, you've been happy for the last 2 weeks. Good for you. I got a new memory that will get you back to what it thinks is normal. And it's not because there's any disease back there or anything like that. It wants you to be what it considers healthy, what you've always been. Okay. Right. So that's why we have a day 8 call and a day 15 call, because about day 15 or so, who the hell am I? Okay. If I'm a business owner, you know, what's my business look like and stuff now? And so we have that conversation. And then at 30 days, we just be silent and let person talk for what their experience was the whole 30 days. And the reason why we do that is we look for old habits, old patterns of speech, so that if they have allowed themselves to connect to a new memory, you notice I didn't say slide back or fail or none of that, because there isn't. All right. They're very clear. There is not a fail factor here. What we're looking for is a new memory that's replacing it, that the brain thinks, oh, this will work for him. He'll be good. He'll be good now. He'll be his usual self. Well, we do the continuation session, boom, 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 find the new one. And it doesn't happen again, because now your conscious and your subconscious are thinking. So when an emotional situation happens in the future, you just ask yourself the 3 questions and boom, it's all done. Now, those high emotional PTSD events and things like that, they're still there, but they no longer have the emotional tie to you that they had. Now, you're not a dish rag. You have all your faculties and all your emotions, but these don't drive your behavior anymore. That's key.
I mean, I'm trying to think of an example of an incident that would turn into a habit. So it doesn't matter what it is. It immediately, Terry, do you use any plant-based medicines to relax or mind in your
nothing?
We both hit the nothing at all.
Nothing. I take health supplements every day, but it's keep this body good. I'm 68 years old, and my last physical at the VA, I'm a disabled vet. And my last physical at the VA, my doctor was blown away. But she said my chems were a 20-something, very young, very healthy. My body and muscle mass is something of a 40-something-year-old. And I'm 68 years old, folks. So no, I don't. I used to be, before marrying my current wife and her putting me on organic food and stuff, I used to be on 5 meds, headed for 2 more, and 70 pounds higher than I am right now. So that has a lot to do with it as well. Okay. The key thing that I want everybody to understand, that was a great question, by the way, Terry, is there's no magical pill or anything like that. It's your lifestyle. And when you find the driver that's creating the self-sabotage over and over and over again, or being victimized over and over and over again, it's like the person who marries 3 times and all 3 of them, her husbands were narcissists, right? It's repetitive behavior. See, in CR, ladies and gentlemen, repetitive behavior is defined as this way. If you make a conscious decision to do something or not do something and fail to do it 2 or more times, that's a repetitive behavior. You're not broken. You're not sick. There's something in there that was created before you had the idea of what was going on, and now it controls that factor. All right. So when we neutralize that factor, now you have that control. You have the ability. I'll give you a great example. You hear a song first thing in the morning and it's in your mind all day. Okay. You no longer worry about it. You just let it go. Hey, I'm going to have a song for a little while. And as soon as you take your conscious thought off of the song, not the instant, it can take a while. For me, sometimes it's all day long anyway, but I don't stress over the fact that it's there. I just let it be. Something I liked about that song to start it off, and I'll just let it be. I have other things to do. And it turns it off. I don't consciously do anything with it. It's probably the deflection system that started it. Here's the key. Here's the key to what we're talking about future instances. Somewhere between 4 and 7 years old, our mind the brain matures to a point where it can turn on and turn off repetitive thoughts. If you have an amnesic memory that's protecting you, and it wants you to think about everything else but what really happened to start it all. So it hides from you that on-off switch. I like to use that because once you're neutralized and we find what the driver was, you not only know it exists, you know where to turn it on and off. So if you want to sing that song all day long, rock and roll, it's all yours, okay? But if you want to turn it off, you pattern yourself with your own words. That's your own power, okay? You pattern yourself not to do it. And within a very short while, it just goes away, and it's not a problem.
You know, the more I'm listening to this, the more I think I should do it.
You'll know when it is, when it's time.
It's interesting, right? There's so much to it, right? And so
a lot more than we can put into an hour. Let me tell you, I have talked nonstop without a drink of water for 2.5 hours. I can talk about this stuff, but I try to keep it down because we only have an hour today. So, yeah.
So when I look at this, like, does it help with addictions too? I'm assuming it probably helps with all those things, right? Because those are just avoidance tactics and ways to avoid whatever we're suppressing, right?
Let me give you an example. Dry and sober, U.S. Army man, 3 years dry and sober when he came to me about another problem, okay? Here's where the real problem lies. Mother and father, lifelong alcoholics. Grandmother and grandfather on both sides, lifelong alcoholics. He grew up in alcohol. First time he ever got drunk was 10 years old, okay? While everybody was laughing at him, okay? So then he became the joker. Hear that one before? So you grab that and you can't get rid of it. So a lifelong alcoholic. He used to go to AA and be as active as he could, but he always had to go. If he missed, he didn't trust himself, even after 3 years, okay? The 12-step program really ought to have 13 steps, CR first, and then the rest of them will work, because a lot of them, 70-some%, don't make it. Right. So, you know, or they go through again. But here's the key, folks. It's a repetitive behavior, not a chemical addiction. And when you shift your mind to behavior and not sick, now when he goes to AA, he runs the meetings. He's a believer. Folks, you could stop this. You could stop this drive. And you know, for people who ask him what it's all about, because we tell him, don't go in there and push our stuff. We want people to find out about us, blah, blah, blah. If you guys want to know in the meetings, he says, if you guys want to know about it, go to the website. I'm out. Okay. I just know my life is great. And that's how lifelong alcoholism with traditional alcohol. So since mom and dad were both, he had fetal alcohol too, man. He had to have. I'm not diagnosed. Oh, yeah. I can't diagnose, right. But man, you know. So yeah, and you know, various psychomeds and stuff like that are a lot of fun, I hear. But they're behavioral too. You know, all of that, overeating, self-sabotage. I'm a self-sabotager all my life, where I would get quick, fast success, self-sabotage, and fail all my life. Cub Scouts. It started in Cub Scouts, for God's sakes. And my Navy career, I was one of the youngest personnel in the Navy to achieve the rank of Chief Petty Officer in 7 years. Unheard of in administration. Unheard of. I did it, right? Self-sabotage, blew my career up, and never made it to E8 or E9, you know, blew it up. And I did that after I got out of the Navy. I didn't know who I was. So, you know, I would do great things in a new job and then blow it. Do it again, blow it. Get fired or quit. So that was a big part of me. And I had another story. This one is a good one. I think this will relate to a lot of people that are watching or will watch this. And that is, this kid was a lifelong victim all the way through school, all of elementary, middle school, and high school. He got beat up by three guys in line to go to high school commencement. He walked into the gymnasium with a bloody nose. Okay. And at 64 at the time he went through the CR, he was about to retire. And all of his life, people victimized him, including his current boss, who did it daily. If he didn't find him, or if he didn't see him, he'd go find him to victimize him. And he went through the CR process over the weekend, came in the next week, all week long. He saw the boss. They waved at each other, nothing. A couple of weeks later, he called me in the evening. He was so blown away. He says, my boss called me into his office, and I was all set for the blow up, right? And he says, man, I don't know what you're doing, but I can't believe it's you. You are just such a great person in this company. I'm so glad you're here. And all these years that I had to be on you all the time, I just don't get that. But don't stop. You're just an incredible person. And I'm sorry that I caused some agony over the times. And maybe you should rethink your retirement for a couple more years, because we really like to have you think about taking a division for us that's just starting. He was never in 18 years, he was never considered for a promotion until then, right? Lifetime victimization. He no longer had that victim energy. He walked with his head up. He engaged people with their eyes. I had a veteran like that, suicide and PTSD, combat PTSD. And she wouldn't look you in the eye unless it was one-to-one, nobody else around, and she'd glance at your eyes, but that's it. Never look at your eyes. Now she gets in front of a camera or people on a national level and talks about her life and how the sale process changed her life, saved her life. Because the night that she found us, she was outside looking for the demon. She had a rifle lock and loaded, and her daughter came out and said, what are you doing? I'm looking for the demon. She says, you're the demon, Mom. Put the gun down and go talk to that guy you told me about. Right? She had it all figured out at one point. She was going to take all of her clothes off, wrap herself up in a sheet on the floor, and commit suicide so it would be easy to clean up. A lot of people do that. A lot
Yeah,
of people do that.
that's it's sad, right? And the more I get into this conversation, the more I'm going to talk to you about doing this now.
No, it's
The
fine.
the time probably is right. But DJ, you should connect with Terry. DJ has a show that she's started too, and that she's doing
Oh,
on Monday evenings. She's also a vet. She's a female vet, and she works with people to help them get through their life. So I think
okay.
that you guys could have an amazing conversation.
Well,
She's based out of
DJ,
Florida.
there's only brothers and sisters. There's no female vets. I'm with you.
Well, she's an amazing person also. So
Good.
she's it's and that's why these conversations need to happen
Well,
because
we're the messengers, right?
yeah,
It's like I'm also a coach, an executive coach, and I tell all my people, whether you're just starting out, I take very few rookies, but if they show real promise, I will. But you're the messenger. What do you do, Terry? Well, you're not telling the kid who's changing your oil what you do. You're telling the kid whose uncle needs you what you do.
right.
Okay. The message is for the receiver, not the messenger. So always remember that. You guys just starting out in your business careers or whatever, when you tell somebody what you do, you're not necessarily talking to them. You're talking through them to somebody they may know and do that. And a great example is I used to sell custom clothes. I designed my own suits and have them made. Okay. And I was talking to a kid who was washing my car. And he says, Mr. Nichols, you always look so cool. What do you do? Where do you get your clothes? And I said, I make them. Not literally, but I sell custom clothes, and that's why I'm here in this office building, is to take care of people. And he says, well, can I have your business card? Now this is a kid that's all dirty washing my car. Okay, that was one of the perks of being an executive guest of the day. And in Minnesota, that was a good deal, because especially in the wintertime. Anyway, I gladly gave him my card. And he says, I think my uncle has a tough time with suits. He's got real gorilla arms. He's a big guy. And I said, those are the kind of people that I help the most. And I'd be glad to help you. And he says, okay, well, I'll tell him about you. And I said, okay, thanks. And he finished my car. And I hopped in and I took off. The following week, this guy calls me in the middle of the morning. Hey, you Nick? Yes. I went by Nick in those days. And he says, my Petey, my nephew, had dinner at my house last night, and he gave me your card. He says you can make suits. I go, yeah. He says, I got to go back and forth to New York to have my suits made, and I hate it. So where's your store? And I said, where you're standing, probably. And he says, oh, you come to the office or whatever? And I go, yeah. This is made to measure. This isn't, you don't come and try on suits and coats and stuff, and we figure something out. We set an appointment. I have you wear your favorite shirt, your favorite tie, and your favorite suit, because I want to know what you love. And then I'll measure you, and we'll pick out some suit, and it'll be fine. Where are you at? He was then, this is back in the 90s, he was the executive vice president for Wells Fargo Midwest. And he spent many thousands of dollars with me. Very happy camper. From who? Petey, who washes my car. All right. So it's the message, folks. It's the message that resonates with people.
It
when
definitely is.
When they're ready to receive it anyway.
That's the thing, right? You plant the seeds, and when they're ready to hear it, they hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you have any closing comments that you want to share? Or, I mean, the Petey story is great. I love the Petey story.
I love it too, because I'm a real clothes horse. I love my suits. Final things. What you're going through, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this. What you're going through, you don't have to go through. And it's not a trial and error. It's a one and done. Okay. And we do it in 6 languages. So there's a pretty good possibility here in the United States anyway, pretty good possibility that we can take care of you if you're English second language or something like that. But we'll figure it out. And here's the key. When you're ready, you've heard a little bit about what we do and how we do it. And that's the whole story. It repeats itself, okay? Because it's a very exact sequence of wording. Everybody, including me, reads right off of the document. So we know it's good because we've proven it. And sooner or later, behavioral health or somebody is going to go, Mr. Earthwind, we'd like to back you up. I want to see if this really works. I got the money. Let's see if it really works. And I would love that. But that's a final thought. You don't have to continue walking down this path. Your path doesn't have to include this. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for having me on here, Michael. This is cool, man.
You're welcome. And you know, I love it, right? My community's going to watch this, and there's a lot of people in it that this will definitely help. And there's a few more people after hearing it in more detail that I'm going to introduce you to directly also, because this is going to help a lot of people. And I wanted to understand it better. And I'm an audio person, auditory person, so I have to hear it rather than read it. I could read everything a million times. I'll never sink in.
Right.
So,
and I'm visual.
Yeah. So
and you're right. Ladies and gentlemen, you want a connector? This guy is connected. It's amazing who he's thought of for me to be introduced to, and vice versa, over the last few months that we've known each other. He's a big connector. And when he says connected consultant, he means it. Yeah. In a big way.
I follow my intuition today. I don't doubt it anymore. So it definitely helps when it's not my message.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So everybody, thank you so much. Have a great Wednesday, and I will be back tomorrow, I think. Yeah, twice. You'll see me twice tomorrow. So have a great evening or a great day, guys.
Thank you very much.
All right.